Subproject 136 of Project MKUltra is already dark, but when you start adding children into the mix, it gets darker. Subproject 136 was basically an occult theme project. It basically focused on ESP, telepathy, psychokinesis, in the context of mind control and military applications. And basically, like the rest of Project MKUltra, the documents are still classified or mostly destroyed. But we do know there are possible connections to Subproject 136 and the University of Chicago and its laboratory school. During this time period, the 50s and the 60s, you'd be hard-pressed to find any institution that was not being funded somehow by the CIA. Prisons, hospitals, universities all had experiments going on that were funded by the agency or front groups. Now, the lab school at the University of Chicago was a progressive learning center, and they were experimenting with behavioral and psychological development techniques in children. Now, there is no direct evidence that the school was a part of MKUltra, but the interest in developmental psychology that they were exploring at the school aligned with subprojects exploring how to manipulate thought from a young age. Former students and faculty have spoken on the unusual psychological experiments that were done at the school. I found a Substack by the Everyday Therapist, and she was a student at the lab school during that time and barely missed these psychological experiments. But she delves into Subproject 136, the University of Chicago, and the lab school. There are only 2 sets of documents from this subproject that are available currently, and this is one of them. This is an overview of the project. I'm guessing they wrote this up so that they could get their funding, which they did. The funding statement is the other document. Now, usually in these documents, there is a section that says subjects, and it tells you who the subjects are going to be of the experiment. In this case, there is none. But they tell us anyway, and it is hidden under the methods section down here. High-scoring subjects from special groups such as psychotics, children, and mediums. So out of those 3 sets of subjects, 2 of them are really not capable of consenting to these experiments. And I'm sure there's some people that are like, what's the big deal? It's just psychic research. They're just, I don't know, doing card games and mind-reading experiments, etc. Except when they got things wrong, they were punished. Learning studies will be instituted in which the subject will be rewarded or punished for his overall performance and reinforced in various ways. Being told he was right, being told what the target was in connection to remote viewing, and with electric shock, etc. Further on in the methods, they talk about increasing people's abilities by hypnosis and giving them substances. And the entire time that I'm reading the Substack and looking at these documents, the only thing I could think of was, this sounds so much like the Gifted and Talented program or the Talented and Gifted program. Now, there is no documented connection between Subproject 136 and the Gifted and Talented program, but it kind of mirrors, you can see the connection. What are your thoughts on this?